Tales by the Foxfire was lucky enough to receive a free review copy of Fine Work Act 1 by Tethys Games, and I spent my weekend immersed in the bright, cozy colors of Gleamhold. In Fine Work Act 1, you play a Sen Shaper who transforms memories into items commissioned by your clients, creating objects they can treasure forever. Shaping feels immersive thanks to unique rhythm controls that take place in graphically gorgeous dreamscapes unique to each of your clients, and the slow burn story keeps you hanging on with its rich cast of characters and gorgeously textured world building that grabs you from the moment you set foot in the atelier. We'll get into a quick rundown and review, but remember to wishlist or purchase the game today on Steam to show the devs some support so we can hopefully get an Act 2 sometime soon. Developed by Tethys Games, Fine Work Act 1 puts you in the role of a Sen Shaper, an artisan who crafts objects from the memories of their clients on commission. Through multiple choice interviews and fantastical dynamic rhythm game sections, you'll use your skills to make meaningful items for Gleamhold's diverse residents and forge lifelong bonds along the way. I remember when I was a kid, I excitedly tried out Britney's Dance Beat for the PlayStation 2, expecting a story campaign where you earned your way up through the ranks as Britney's backup dancer. This was not the case, as I'm sure you know if you remember playing that game, and instead you kinda just pressed buttons to Britney Spears songs while the character models danced. Not exactly gripping. Enter Fine Work Act 1 some decades later. Cue the sobbing as I let that sink in. Fine Work Act 1 offers the kind of richly woven, living and breathing story I craved, at least, complemented by brief, immersive, and technically skilled rhythm sections. It's so immersive, in fact, and so gorgeous and so comforting that those 2 decades barely make me cry anymore. In Fine Work Act 1, you're not just hitting the buttons while looking at interesting things happening behind a flat interface. You're on rails through a psychedelic dreamscape, uniquely representing each individual customer like their brain is a Disneyland ride, weaving your clients' memories into items they will treasure, using just your loom and your own 2 hands. That is, if you imagine you only have 2 hands. Judging by some of the characters you meet in Gleamhold, that is not the limit. That is to say, however, well you do in each rhythm section determines the quality of each resulting craft, and consequently how happy your clients will be. Rather than feeling like diversions, the rhythm sections in Fine Work Act 1 are baked right into the story, adding an immersive element to each level where you actually want to get that A grade to show off your best work. My one gripe is that easy mode feels more like normal, so a less complex difficulty level lacking challenges like cursor speed up may be beneficial to give players a bit of breathing room to process everything that's happening. Yes, 1 gear please, and make it pretty. I will do my best, but it does require me to perform a rhythm section, which I should note, the developers have added a hands-free autopilot setting for the rhythm section. So if it looks like it's a bit much and you just want to experience the story, you can turn on that kind of autopilot-y mode and just enjoy it hands-free. Away you go. And difficulty we can do easy or hard. I kind of wish there was a normal in the middle, because I don't tend to want the autopilot, the game to play itself for me, that there are aspects in the easy difficulty that I think could be attributed to a normal and have the easy be kind of a simple version where you can kind of just get the hang of it. Like you saw the circles descending on the prompts in the tutorial, right? Or sometimes your cursor will speed up as sort of a bit of an extra challenge when you're getting into the rhythm of it. I kind of wish those had been relegated to a normal in the middle and have easy be, well, easy. But that's just what I think. It's fun still otherwise, but it can be a bit difficult for easy. There's nowhere to go underneath of easy. That's just aside from having the gameplay itself, right? And sometimes you don't want that. If you find the prompts too much to process or lack the necessary mobility in your hands, Fine Work Act 1 offers a Sen-shaping autoplay option as of March 2026, so you can kick back and enjoy the visuals hands-free. Pro tip, Steam Deck players may want to enable this option as well at the moment, as there is a noticeable difference between rhythm section performances on the PC and the Steam Deck due to the Steam Deck version hitching and freezing when the graphics get too much for it. For real, my performance jumped from steady C grades with miss scores in the 40s to B and A grades with like 1 or 2 misses tops once I hopped over to test the game on my apparently way stronger PC. See, I'm fine with the instructions, right? But it's it's these circles that do me. But you see, it's really cool. It's not like the basic flat, not moving track that I am accustomed to in a lot of rhythm games. It's got a very dynamic, alive feel to it, which I appreciate very much. Just a note, I played this originally on the Steam Deck for my first run through. If you are intending to do that, it will it will be a bit more unwieldy than this, because I found there was a lot of hitching and a bit of a delay. The timing gets a bit messed up where it wants you to be quite on it. Right? So if you play this on the Steam Deck, it's not you. If you struggle with the controls, it's not you. There are some syncing issues there, some hitching issues and whatnot that are working against you. This is running a lot more smoothly for me on the computer than when I tried it before, so bear that in mind. And if you can, if the option is available to you, run it on the computer. Cause like I got a B with a couple of misses there, like 7. Generally on the Steam Deck, that would be in the high double digits. Like 40s and 50s misses, and I'm sitting here like, what the heck is going wrong? How am I this terrible at this? And the answer is because of the hardware. Also worth mentioning is the fact that Fine Work Act 1 features a category-organized notebook that keeps track of in-universe terms used throughout the game, which you can check on any time using a button right next to the dialogue box. If it's been a minute since you played, or like me, you struggle to keep terms straight in your head on your first journey through a story with world building as intricate as Fine Works, you'll find this an invaluable tool for gaining understanding in quick, bite-sized chunks that won't bog you down with frills. I was going to get your opinion on this new sequence once I'm a little further along. So sequences are a mechanically generated song. Sequencing and chanting are legal forms of music, but music experimentation within either modality is still taboo. So sequences are the rhythm sections where you are... Right, I should have looked up sound shaping for you. Sound shaping is objects woven out of memories. Sound shape is powerful, emotionally charged, and enduring, unlike none such. Sound shape can be taken from dream to dream, which is what we do. We have people come in, they commission us for items, they give us memories, we interview them to kind of get a vibe for them, and then we use their memories that they give us to weave items for them. One of the things I first noticed about Fine Work Act 1 was its nostalgic art style that feels lived in and made me think immediately of Dungeons & Dragons sourcebooks. Such care has been put into visually and conceptually fleshing out the town of Gleamhold, its residents, and overarching world, that it feels like you've been invited to take a seat at an ongoing tabletop game with new friends. Because of this rich narrative and the many choices you can make throughout, with some dialogue options even locked behind which 2 traits you pick right at the beginning of the game, so you can choose your name, and you can choose these traits, I guess. It reminds me a bit of building a D&D character, in a way, where you've got your different backgrounds to choose from, where you can decide whether you're like beautiful, charming, perceptive, not clumsy as heck, good intuition, or strong physically. You can choose 2 of these and they will inform the decisions that you are able to make in some of the chats throughout the game. Fine Work overflows with replay value. I'm on my second playthrough and I'm convinced there are still plenty of scenes and conversations I haven't found yet in the 8 hours I've sunk into it, and there's a bunch more builds that I can try out with different combinations of traits, so that is really exciting. Though beautiful in a way that feels hand-painted, fine work is far from static, featuring dynamic portraits that don't just change their facial expressions like a lot of games in the genre. They physically move around on the screen, change poses, and even spin around to express their excitement multiple times during a conversation. Stills are rarely used, and when they are, it's to highlight a key moment that you'll want to admire and take a breather in before moving on with the story, like drinking with your friends at the local bar. In most conversations, the entire screen is used like a stage rather than relegating portraits or character stills to one area, pointing to an artistic mind with a key eye for spatial awareness and what makes a conversation feel alive. Kind of reminds me when I was talking to Zack Buchman from Furry Puppet Studio, where we talked about how crucial it is to express character in a very brief window. Like, a character design will tell you like a million different things about what they're like, everything you need to know in just like a split second to land that first impression properly. As well, Zack works a lot with expressing characterization and how they move on the screen, and that is something that fine work really pins down. Is like Mar will spin around and be really animated, where like Danae will be a lot more chill, with arms open, very welcoming. It's noticeable. It's subtle but noticeable, and very appreciated. What were you two just doing? Hey, a little blackguard! Faye was having a sniff of my arm. Why you gotta say it like that? I was taking comfort in your fig-like smell. Something else that stuck out to me about fine work is the way it deals with gender. That is to say, it actually opts not to. Everyone is referred to as Han, a gender-neutral honorific in Gleamhold's culture. In doing this, the matter of gender is moved to one side, allowing players to immerse themselves comfortably in the game's narrative, a considerate move for any future romances that become available, as hinted by the flirty dialogue options the player can choose. I'll make Han some tea. So, we see here a phrase, Han, which is like a gender-neutral term of and respectful term that people use instead of like he, she, them, they, their. It's just Han. We got a little handy-dandy codex thing down here. I've got to remember which button it is. Yeah, so an honorary title for any vivid being can be used in place of a name, and they do. So it leaves characterization quite open to perception, which is nice because this is also not voiced. You sit on a wooden floor, your legs touching another's. It's warm, but there's mist on your face. The window is open and cool droplets come with each gust of wind. A rough lace-trimmed curtain blows in and out with the storm. Though some light persists outside, the room itself is dark. I can't see you, you laugh. You don't need to, the other murmurs, leaning in close. The memory falls away. Danae stands across from you, smiling. I appreciate this too, is the fact that they very purposefully did not attribute a gender in that scene. And as I was saying about Han, it really, I find that's a considerate experience, because just like you're kind of making objects from memory, and it feels like you're transforming memories into whatever these customers want of you, you can kind of make the whole reading experience whatever you want as well, whatever's comfortable for you, however you feel best, and that's quite brave, and I appreciate it a lot, you know? Like, you're not forced into a role, and that's lovely. I also want to give a shout out to the body inclusivity demonstrated in fine work. Across the vibrant cast, you'll meet characters of all tastes, types, and vocations from across Gleamhold, including Mar, the loudly dressed musician with multiple sets of eyes, who is a complete sweetie and I will defend Han to the death, the muscular Held with protrusions from Han's skin, Danae, the curvy bartender with multiple sets of arms, Andrus with two bodies sharing one entwined identity, Darling, the blogger with heterochromia. I always love it when games showcase it, represent, and just so many more. Like the plot, Fineworks cast is richly textured, reminding us that there are many, many kinds of people, all with distinct stories to tell. Would you have chosen elsewhere? I washed up in Abso. I didn't stay long in truth, yet the cycles I dwelled therein shaped me entire. Abso is matchless in nature, a home to holiness and facile awe. Yet with wretchedness neath the same sea rise, every artist or devotee passing through balanced by a cutthroat or petty thief. I learned the myriad ways muck choose to live within a tenth of the time I might have elsewhere, and nay, I would not have chosen otherwise, even with the many harms my naivety invited. Had I washed up anywhere else, I'd not be myself, but a stranger in my own skin. That is a mentality that I share very much with Danae. Is like, it doesn't. There are times in my life when I and the people I love have faced some amount of adversity or struggle that was life-changing, but that always taught us very valuable lessons. And even though there are things that we have been through that I wish had not been the case, I cannot ever fully wish that it wasn't the case, because without overcoming those things, I don't think that I would be the person I am today, able to do the things I'm able to do. And they have expressed a very similar sentiment. So I see you, today. I agree. It's tough to go through things that force a change, I suppose, and force you to become more guarded or see the world differently. It's in seeing the world differently and how you respond to that and overcome. So it's horrible. You never want like something bad to happen to someone as lovely and fluffy and kind, but maybe that's where the kindness came from. Maybe we're not defined by the horrible things that happened to us, but we grew in spite of them. And I really appreciate them giving somebody in the game that kind of mentality. It's sort of like about the plot and the fact that they used the form of ceramics that bind the broken pieces back together. It all fits into a very cozy, accepting vibe in this game, and I think that is one of the things that, one of the aspects about it that I truly love. I do. This is such a fantastic experience, and I'm really grateful that it was brought to my attention, because it just feels good. It feels good. It feels supportive. It feels kind. It is a game that's a hug, and everybody deserves a game that's a hug. Just another aspect that makes Finework a delightfully Moorish experience and keeps me looking forward to returning to Gleamhold someday for Act 2. Please, Tethys, give us Act 2. We need it. Thanks for joining me for this bite-sized review by the Foxfire. For more indie spotlights, video game reviews, quick start guides, deep dives, and sneak peeks, subscribe below and check out the blog. I also occasionally stream on Twitch, so be sure to check that out. Every share and like goes a long way to helping Tales by the Foxfire out as an independent outlet, and we really appreciate your continued support, as it helps us carry on developing our cozy little corner of the internet and keep bringing you the game recommendations that we just love sharing. Thank you again to Tethys Games for sharing this game key with us via Keymailer. We really appreciate it and had such a wonderful time in Gleamhold. Until next time, take care of yourselves and see you again soon for more Tales by the Foxfire.